In Kano State, the police command has declared war on thuggery, drug abuse, and other criminal activities. The police also bust a thug hideout situated in the state's on the state's historic Dala Hill. Ibrahim Isa reports.
The high rate of thuggery in Kano in recent times has been a source of worry for residents. The police has now declared an all-out war against the criminal act. It is recording some success in its operation, having raided one of the meeting places for thugs on the state's historic Dala Hill. The Commissioner of Police, Hussein Gumel, in company with senior officers, traditional rulers and members of the Dala community, converged on top of the hill to discuss ways of ending the activities of thugs, known as Endeavor in the state.
We are now here at the historical pyramid, widely referred as the ancient Dala Hill, Dus and Dala, which symbolizes economic hub of the city. But unfortunately, earlier been hijacked by thugs and turned the place as their hideout and a place of rendezvous, especially for illicit dealings in drugs and totally a no-go area for non-members.
Before the operation, the thugs had made life difficult for residents. The criminal element had also taken over the hilltop, which had presented an ideal spot for tourists to take on the entire scenery of the state. Though no arrest was made, the CP announced the names of some hardened criminals who have refused to submit themselves to the command for dialogue.
The remaining 9 people whose names were mentioned are yet to voluntarily submit themselves to the police. Therefore, we are seeing them as daring us. In our part, we are going to deploy all the available assets toward dislodging them from their locations and will be made to face the wrath of the law in the shortest possible time.
CP Hussein Gumel also mentioned the names of blacksmiths identified as producers of the local weapons used by the criminal gangs. He similarly asked them to also submit themselves to the police command within the same period, or risk being arrested and made to face the full wrath of the law. The Kano Police Command is optimistic that busting criminal hideout like this one on this hill will end thuggery in the state. They call on the community members to support the police for the desired goals to be achieved. Ibrahim Isa, TVC News, Kano.
Away from the courts now, Chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, and the National Commissioners have met with collation and returning officers to review the 2023 general election. The Commission acknowledges that collation and returning officers worked under extremely challenging circumstances by tediously and manually completing designated forms as provided by law. Habida Lawal has more.
Election officials are made up of permanent and ad hoc staff of the Independent National Electoral Commission who are directly involved in conducting and supervising the electoral process. These officials have a significant role to play in the electoral process, and how they discharge their duties affect the degree of confidence voters have in the electoral process. Present in this gathering are the 37 state collation officers for the presidential election, as well as many who also doubled as returning officers for the 28 governorship elections. The Commission's expectations at this meeting is to identify areas of strength and weaknesses while deliberating on the necessary reforms that should be introduced going forward.
Many of you have also the cognate experience of this work in terms of result management, having served in similar capacities in at least 3 electoral cycles. Some of you have participated in the electoral process since 2015, and you are involved again in 2019 and 2023.
The resident and collation officers are majorly concerned about security and transportation of electoral materials safely to their destinations.
Once you've read out the results, it's possible, you need to have some cover if there's any problem. I think that was probably the greatest challenge, and then getting to the location.
We emphasize where we had some little hiccups, we look at them and look at solutions that could be preferred to make future elections better.
Certain issues have come to light, and some Nigerians have raised concerns about result management at various levels, while some of the issues are already subject of litigations and therefore subjudice. INEC believe they can be discussed broadly and experiences can be shared on the way forward. Being the first point of call for collation process at the state level, the Independent National Electoral Commission is engaging collation and returning officers who conducted the 2023 presidential election to get their first-hand opinion on how far it fared. Habida Lawal, TVC News, Abuja.